last year I had some few splits where things were not going good, and I already learned a lot of stuff from Humanoid about macro and stuff. So I just felt like I had to step up.
Hey guys, this is Pedro in the back with a brand new interview. This time I'm accompanied by Razork, the jungler for Fnatic after they finished 2-1 in week 2, thus placing them in third place at the time of the recording with a 4-2 record in the regular season. And so Razork, once again, thank you so much for taking the time during this interview. Really appreciate it. And starting off this whole conversation with, like I said at the start of this whole thing, finishing 2-1, 4-2 overall. So, what do you think about the teams showing in week 2 in a general sense?
Well, I think pretty decent week overall. I think like we could have won 3-0 easily, but I think the day against BTS we were playing really bad. I felt like people were out of energy that day, including myself. And yeah, energy just played better than us. Also, our draft wasn't the greatest, but pretty happy with the performance against Rogue and Giants today. I think was very decent, and yeah, I'm happy overall with the standings being 4-2 right now.
Interesting that you brought up the fact that, you guys didn't have a lot of energy before the first match of the week. So, what do you think? What happened to what happened? What made that happen?
I mean, personally, I had really bad night the day before. Like, I didn't sleep very well, and I was like not very in the mood. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the captain of the team right now, and yeah, if I have a bad day, I feel like people can feel it the most. And that day, I was like very, yeah, very weird. So we just dropped the game.
Yeah, and I guess the change from that first initial loss in the week to then, the next two where you guys won, that was basically just sort of a mentality shift, mood shift, for you guys on top of just playing well that made, those two victories happen.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, the next days we came with a lot of energy. We did very good warm-up routines, and overall, I think like the team atmosphere was really on point, and you could feel like the energy before the match that we all were like looking forward to win. And yeah, I feel like if we do this next week, and we can easily go to 1 or 3 again.
Yeah. And looking specifically into the third map, third match of week 2, Humanoid played the Hwei the first time that champion was played in the LEC this year so far, and so I'm curious, like what made it such that the team finally decided to put Hwei on the server. Was it because of just how the kind of draft that Giant X presented to you guys, like giving you guys an opening or anything like that?
I mean, Humanoid has been practicing the champ a lot, and he knows where he can actually do a lot with the champ. And yeah, he just felt like this game it was very good for Wade. He has very long range against the champs like Ash and Baru, so can really poke them and outrange them in team fights. So he just said, guys, this is good game for Wade, and we had been screaming a lot with it. So we just went for it, no doubts, and I think he performed very good.
Yeah, and I must say about, or I must ask about your perspective as a jungler in terms of supporting, Hwei as as a fellow teammate. What's it like? What are the most difficult slash easiest things to deal with when it comes to playing alongside Hwei and things of that juncture?
I think as long as you just know what his spell does and his strengths, you can always play around him. He kind of needs some of front line, so he can rely on people covering some skill shots for him, so he can free hit. And I think he has a lot of access to backline. If you jump with Shinthao or Kasante on enemy backline, he can follow up very easy and just burst that target.
Do you feel that the champion will, after finally being selected for the first time in a match in the LEC, do you feel the champion is going to appear much more often from this point forward into the rest of the split and maybe the rest of the year?
Maybe I think it's a champ that can be really useful in competitive, but yeah, you need a good draft around it, and you need also enemy to not have like a lot of hard engage. I think the champ is not that good against hard engage, and yeah, I mean the champion got many buffs. I think he got two buffs in two parts in a row. So for sure the champ is actually looking strong right now. So probably people are gonna play it.
Yeah, and of course, and we'll see what happens in the future with that champion. But now looking back towards you, Resort, you mentioned about in earlier on in the conversation, you mentioned about how you're basically the team captain of Fnatic for this year, and I'm curious to ask about how you have developed as a captain from last year to this year, leading a team such as Oscar Humanoid, and then Noah, and then the new person in June. How's it been being the leader for teams such as this compared to how it was in the past earlier on in your career, where you basically were looking up to the captain for those past teams?
hmm well, I think the first year that I played with Humanoid Wunder Upset Healy, I feel like I was more of a rookie there still, even though I played 2 years in LEC. And yeah, I mean the last year I had some few splits where things were not going good, and I already learned a lot of stuff from Humanoid about macro and stuff. So I just felt like I had to step up because I was always like lifting the mood up, but I wasn't really feeling like okay, I direct the game, the in-game, right? I direct the people and I tell them what to do and what we are doing next. But I felt like I got so much experience and I'm so confident right now in how I see them up and how me and Humanoid see them up right now that we are just always on the same page. And it just feels that it comes natural right now out of me. And yeah, I have players like Oscar that is not very experienced and Noah and June that are also not very experienced. So I feel like it's not like I'm their father or anything, but I feel like teaching them what Marek teach me before.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see you take that mantle, just be the captain in your own right. Then, there's plenty of different ways that a captain slash leader goes about leading their teams in particular. How would you describe your form of leadership of Fnatic at this moment in time?
Well, I mean, I feel like I still need to learn a lot of things. I'm not like perfect leader or anything. I'm also still a bit emotional. I'm working on it a lot, so it doesn't affect me in game. If I make a mistake, I don't overthink it and stuff. But I try to always be positive in game. Try to cover for others and yeah, make sure that if something goes wrong, we move on and I don't want Oscar to overthink if he got solo kill. I just want to go next and keep thinking on what's the next play and what we can do to get the win. And yeah, I would describe myself very stable right now. I feel like.
Yeah, and hopefully that can then also continue for the rest of the future and also the split in particular. Now looking ahead towards week three, before the start of playoffs, I believe with this record, Fnatic might not have secured a spot in playoffs, but we'll see about that in the future. But still, Mad Lions, G2, and then Team Heretics for week three, your next opponents for that time frame. So, what do you feel is going to be the hardest thing to focus on when it comes to taking on these three teams at the late stretch of this winter split?
I think for sure it's gonna be the toughest week. Overall, I feel like they are very hard opponents. I think Heretics has been playing pretty decent. Koi is a team to beat, right? Like I'm Spanish. There's like kind of Spanish team, and I will really like to beat them. And G2 is probably the strongest team right now, but everything can happen in a best of one. I'm not really afraid of anyone right now. I feel like we just need to focus on ourselves, and if we play good and we are improving every day, I will be happy. Even if we drop some games last week, we just need time and get better for playoffs and next split.
I remember one more question before I wrap it up. I remember an interview you did last week with Sheep Esports about about the team's current state after week one, and how you said that you still have a lot of room to improve, and you with you saying that just now, I'm kind of curious on where you see the current state of the team now. Um, relative to week one, do you feel the team improved by a lot or by a little or anything like that?
Not really. I think we're still improving slowly. I don't want to make big steps and then forget everything in 1 week. I want to make sure that we are all learning slowly and we are adapting properly to the current meta. And yeah, I mean, I feel right now mostly my objectives is that top lane, Oscar in, and my bot lane are improving on all the things that we are telling them in scrims and all the mistakes that we are doing, so we can actually play good League of Legends. And I think today and yesterday we were not making that mistake, so I'm a little bit more proud. I just need to make it a habit and make sure that we learn it consistently.
And hopefully you're able to do exactly that and then some. Razork, once again, thank you so much for taking the time during this interview. Best of luck in the future, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the interview.
All right, thank you.